Welcome back to the Nook. I'm Daniel, and today I'll be reviewing Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. This is a very large classic. It was written, I believe, in 1936, and I won't read to you the back description just because it doesn't really say much about what the book's about. I'll have to explain that myself. So, for some history with me with this story, I had never read the book. I didn't own it. I had watched the movie when I was a teenager with my mom. And one day, my dad came back from vacation and he had the book, Gone with the Wind, and he was reading it. And he knows I like classics, so he asked if I wanted to read it as well when he's done with it. So I'd never read the book. It's quite big, like I said. And he read it and quite enjoyed it, so I decided to read it. So this takes place during the time of the Civil War in the 1800s, and we follow Scarlett O'Hara, who's this young lady who is one of my least favorite characters in the beginning because she is very selfish. So she's all interested in different guys and she's in romance, but she kind of flirts with people. She's very beautiful. And she ends up meeting Rhett Butler, who's a man that's a good deal older than her. And she doesn't like him at first, but they develop a relationship that kind of continues throughout the story. And he's the only one who could really talk her down because she's very full of herself and telling people what to do. But Rhett Butler is definitely a good match for her. And one of the things I found annoying about her is she was obsessed with this young man she was in love with named Ashley, or she thinks she's in love with him. And when she finds out that Ashley is actually going to marry a girl named Melanie, Scarlett's first thought is, oh, well, she's not as pretty as I am. He couldn't possibly want her. Like, you just see her selfishness and how terrible she is. So this follows what happens in the Civil War, and Rhett goes off to war, and others do as well, and Ashley gets injured. And you kind of get to see what happens there, and you see the effects after the Civil War. Also, there's a lot of slavery of black people in this book because I think back in the day that was more prevalent. So just a warning, if you're offended by this, there is the N-word. The N slur is used quite a bit in this book, but at the time it was more accepted, weirdly. So there is quite a bit with the slavery and the servants. Altogether, this is a very good book. So throughout the entire story, I didn't like Scarlett. I think I was okay with Rhett, but he's kind of weird too. Rhett kind of has some issues as well. But Scarlett especially I didn't like, and it mainly follows her and her friends. But at the very end of the story, I don't want to spoil anything, but the very end of the story, she basically goes through an arc in her life where all of a sudden I thought she was a better character than she was. She goes through some suffering and some different things, but I found that Scarlett became a better character for me at the very, very end. And it's a very interesting ending. It's, without really spoiling it, it's not what you call exactly happy, but I heard there's like a sequel, which I've never heard of, so I'm gonna have to check that out. But basically, yeah, this book follows Scarlett and her life among people in the war and what happens. A lot of stuff happening due to the Civil War. With any war, there's the prices going up on stuff, and of course, she has a farm. Her farm gets burned down by the Yankees. So yeah, it's a very good story. I don't think there's anything trigger warnings aside from some of the racist stuff. But there's nothing really like there's no rape or anything. It's more just there is some horrors of war and how the Yankees treat people, but it's not really graphic at all. Altogether, the writing, Margaret Mitchell has good prose. I liked her writing. Like I said, the character of Scarlett just kind of got better at the very end. So if, like me, if you read the book and you're hating Scarlett for the whole book, just read the whole thing and see what you think of her by the end, because I think she gets better. And Rhett actually is pretty cool too by the end. So, I mean, anyone who knows the story, the big love story is Rhett and Scarlett. So I won't tell you how they get together, but I do find it very interesting, all the stuff that has to happen before Rhett and Scarlett can be a romantic couple. And their relationship, which starts off kind of toxic and they don't love each other, but you do see, it's just a very interesting story. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can really say about it, spoiler free. I just think if you're interested, if you don't mind reading a 1,000+ page book, definitely check it out. Check out the movie too. I'm going to be watching it myself soon. And yeah, that's about all I can say. So remember to like and subscribe. And remember, you're always welcome at the Nook. Bye.